Number 24, Kalen Frederick starting on the off pole, and the driver tried to clinch the championship today from Jupiter, Florida. Motorsports, they're trying to win their 8th straight championship. Kyle Kirkwood, the rookie in the number 8, will start on the pole position. Ladies and gentlemen, 24 drivers set to go, and the Cooper Tire girls are here to give them the command.
On behalf of everyone at Cooper Tires, drivers, start your Mazda engine.
And with that, the engines come to life down here on pit lane. 24 drivers on the very first rung of this Mazda Road to Indy. Engines firing up, and again, Kyle Kirkwood in the Cape Motorsports white and black 8-ball trying to win the championship here today. He can clinch it this weekend. In fact, he can clinch it in this race. Cape Motorsports trying to win their 8th straight USF 2000 championship. Back up to the booth, and John Pippin.
Thanks, Rob Howden, as we're getting ready to go with our first race of the weekend. This race is scheduled for 20 laps or 40 minutes, whichever comes first. We did have a couple off-course excursions from some of these drivers during the practice and qualifying sessions. Let's hope we can keep this race green all the way through and get all 20 laps in before the time expires. My name's John Pippin. I'm overlooking the start-finish line from the Cooper Tires press tower here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. As the cars leave my view, as they're just now pulling out of the pit lane, they come into the view of Rusty Bell. Good afternoon, Rusty.
Good afternoon, John, and everybody here. Looking forward to this Cooper Tires USF 2000 race. As these guys, we get to see them quite a bit this weekend, and they have always put on great shows here. They are behind the pace car now, as you'll see them try to get a little bit of heat in the tires, weaving the cars back and forth, but 24 cars strong. Looking forward to this. I pick up the cars as they come under the turn 1 bridge. Right now out of the pit lane, they'll head onto the straight shot into the keyhole turn, then down the long back straightaway. I'm in the start stand, or for some of the races, the start stand, not this one, but here about 2/3 of the way down the straightaway, just past the kink, and then they come into the best passing area on the track at the top end of the straightaway.
Right in front of Brian Culbertson. Hey, Brian.
Hey, John, and hey, Mid-Ohio. Looking forward to it. We're going to kick the weekend off with the USF 2000 Cooper Tire shod cars, and I'm looking forward to it. The cars make their way past Rusty Bell, 2/3 of the way down the long back straightaway here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and into turn number 4. It's a hard right-hand turn. It's down a short chute and then up the hill into turn number 5. 5's proved difficult this weekend. So far, we've had several spins out here. As the field makes it through turn number 5, they head back down the hill, another elevation change, and make the hard right-hander through turn number 6. Then they head underneath the Honda Bridge, out of my view, into the best-kept secret of the track, Thunder Valley.
And right in front of that is Tom Michaels. Hey, Tom.
Hey, John, and we pick them up as they come off turn number 7 into 8. 8 and 9 are a couple of right-hand turns off camber. As they come through turn number 9, they go up over a little hill, and like a little bump there that makes the cars light. And then they head down into Thunder Valley. Just beyond the Total Porch Bridge is a bending right-hander, turn number 10, and then a hard, very difficult turn number 11. Very fast there. That brings them around to complete the lap once they get through the carousel turn.
Kalen Frederick and Kyle Kirkwood doing a little shuffling at the front of the field as they're getting ready to take the start of the race. And Rob Howden has joined us here in the booth. Rob, let's bring him to the green flag.
Could be a great race here, folks, and we are ready to rock. Here they come out at the final corner here. They're looking to go green this time by. And underway. Green, green, green. Great start for Kyle Kirkwood. He will get the jump on Kalen Frederick into turn number 1. Again, turn 1, can they get through cleanly? Through the opening corner of this racetrack here. They'll work their way now out of the turn 1 over to the keyhole. Here we go, racing now with USF 2000.
Rusty Bell, they're in your view.
Up in the top of the keyhole, a little bit of brake lock up there at the entry to the top of the keyhole, but down the straightaway, it's still Kyle Kirkwood at the point. And we'll start to see them. The front 5 have all gone single file now, but a lot of shuffling going on behind. They're 3 wide here at the King. Down the straightaway, Brian, is Kyle Kirkwood coming at you in the lead.
Yeah, Kyle Kirkwood's got about a 3-car. There's how they touch. Second place runner gets spun out. He slides off the track. Kalen Frederick gets bumped by Lind there. Right at turn number 4. We'll see Kalen Frederick not able to get it. There he goes. He gets it started. The rest of the field headed for Utah Michaels. Oh, in the car, Kalen Fredericks is high-sided here.
Kirkwood goes by, says he's got a good-sized lead on the 23 and the 22. Rasmus Lind and Lucas Cole, they are the top three. The number 9 car back in the field. That is Dakota Dickerson. He's making a pass as they come through turn 9.
Folks, for all intents and purposes, there goes the championship for Kalen Frederick. No opportunity to battle. It is essentially in the hands of Kyle Kirkwood. He was having to beat Kalen Frederick on the racetrack. If he did that, he was going to be able to win this championship in USF 2000. And with Frederick out in turn number 4, the championship will go to Kyle Kirkwood. That's exactly the way that he wanted it to happen, I believe. Are we going full course yellow indeed? Yes, full course yellow for the issue with Kalen Frederick. We'll send it back over to Rusty to get an update down there in turn number 4.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian. It is full course yellow out here on the back straightaway.
Yeah, Kalen Frederick here is high-sided right at almost the exact exit of turn number 4. Not a spot you can stay. So we are going to go full course yellow. It'll only take a second to get this car off the edge of the track here. They hopefully should be able to get it done before the field gets down here the first time, because we've got about 10% track blockage right now. It won't take long. They won't even need to hook it up. They should be able to just shovel up. The AMR crew is there, and they're pushing on the rear wing. And I might be wrong on that one. They may have to get, nope, there he goes. They've got him out and onto the edge of the track here. He is going to go a lap down. Like we said, there goes the championship bid for him. The field, your leader, the number 8 of Kyle Kirkwood, leads the field around. But we should be able to get a green flag when they head in front of you, Tom. Tom Michaels, the field in front of you.
Yep, wait for him to come up over turn number 7. There they are, coming through here very slowly. In the single file situation as they come by. Indeed, the 8 car. Kyle Kirkwood, that white machine. Lynn Cole behind them. Donegan, Raven. That's your top 5.
We'll give them a full field rundown when they come back around. But again, thank you to Brian for giving us the update to Kalen Frederick. Obviously, the issue over in turn number 4. Rasmus Lint just getting a little too over-aggressive down into turn number 4, that tough place. Obviously, the best place to pass, but you've got to make it stick when you're going down into the inside there with that contact. I would not be surprised to see a penalty rolling out here for the driver of the number 23 machine. That said, bringing them back around here, expect to be picking up the pace car when they get out of turn number 1. And that Mazda pace car actually being driven by Indianapolis 500 starter and Indy Lights champion Kyle Kaiser. This start really good actually for Dakota Dickerson. He ends up getting probably 6 or 7 positions to start this race. Started 24th. He has now jumped up into the 18th position. So Dakota Dickerson, who had the issue in qualifying, the transponder issue, not able to get it to work, finally gets out on the racetrack and we go red. He was not able to log 1 official lap time, so he started 24th. Now running in the 18th position. Kyle Kirkwood is your leader, getting things underway here. Rasmus Lint goes to 2nd. 3rd spot, Lucas Cole. 4th, Keith Donegan. In 5th is James Raven. 6th, Jose Sierra. 7th is Calvin Ming. 8th, up a couple of spots, Darren Keene. 9th, Julian Vanderwatt. And in 10th spot, Corey Enders. So again, hate to see this on the opening lap, John. It's one of the things we preach to our drivers in USF 2000, and that's be patient at the start of the race.
Sure.
Let the race develop. I know you want to make that move early. The opening lap's always the best place to attack. Guys are 2-3 wide. But sometimes you got to think better of it, especially when you're a driver like Rasmus Lint, who had that much speed. You know this is going to go to race control. They've got cameras all over the place. Would not be surprised to see some kind of a ruling come down for contact.
Yeah, and it's just tough that he's ruined the slim championship hopes that Kalen Frederick had by spinning him out there at turn number 4, and it's basically now a foregone conclusion unless Kyle Kirkwood throws it off the track and doesn't finish out of the points. He can. You'll be celebrating a new champion down in Victory Circle at the end of this race.
A very good possibility. You're right, indeed. They didn't need a lot of points. As I said before, Kyle Kirkwood really just needed to finish in front of Rasmus Lint to be able to score this championship. But again, drivers are setting back up. We'll see whether or not we're going to go green this time by. Let's see if that pace car ducks on off, or will he stay back on track? No, he's heading to pit lane, and we're going back to racing with USF 2000. Great job for the AMR IndyCar safety crew to get the track cleaned up for us. Kirkwood will lead him out of the final corner here. We're back underway. Green flag flying at start finish. Rasmus Lint in the 2nd. The number 22 of Lucas Cole goes immediately on the defense to the inside of turn number 1 in front of Keith Donegan, but pops back out a little bit, which kind of surprises me because really that's 2 moves on the racetrack. I'm sure they'll be looking at that for sure. But again, out of turn number 1, over to turn number 2, Kyle Kirkwood is your leader.
up in the top of the keyhole as he makes his way around, looking to see if there's any damage on that second place machine right now of Lint as they work their way down the straightaway. It doesn't look like it, at least visually, but we'll see if he knocked anything out of skew there, and his car will continue on. A lot of cars hugging the inside, Brian, as they make their way under braking.
Yeah, great battle from fourth on back. Top three kind of get away a little bit. Kyle Kirkwood, President Lynn, Lucas Cole, your top three. I'll tell you what, Kyle Kirkwood getting away from him. Tom Michaels underneath the Honda Bridge headed for you.
Yep, no challenge at the front for either first, second, or third. Then the battle for fourth right there in that fourth place position. The 28 car Donegan, he continues to lead that pack of cars as they head down through Thunder Valley.
One of the drivers, I think, on the move right now, getting aggressive, is that number 7, the blue and white D-Force driver of James Raven. He has been really aggressive, trying to find a way by Keith Donegan. Right behind Raven is, I believe, Calvin Ming now. He's been able to make a move to get around Sierra. So, indeed, count Calvin Ming now up into the 5th spot. Sierra 6th, Keene 7th. Darren Keene now into the 7th spot, I think, as we're underway. Driver in the pit lane, there it is, the number 23 of Rasmus Lint, drive-through penalty for contact coming through turn number 4. So the penalty to be served by Rasmus Lint, drive-through for the contact in turn number 4 with Kalen Frederick.
Dakota Dickerson picks up another 6 spots. He's up into 12th now after starting dead last on the field. He's already passed half the field. Of course, the closer to the front he gets, the more trouble he's got, Rusty.
Yeah, I also saw a little smoke out of the 28 car coming around turn 1, and Brian is coming at you. Looks like he's really holding up the cars behind.
Yeah, Rusty, he is holding up. The top 2 are now snuck away. We'll see the 28 car. Don't know for sure what's going on, but he's got everybody bunched up behind him. Tom Michaels, when he goes by you, I can smell something, maybe gear loop.
Yeah, there they come. That battle now has been enjoyed by the third place car. Donegan still has the position, but right behind him is the car of Raven, and then Ming next in line.
Wow, no doubt about it. Kyle Kirkwood stretched out to a pretty good little advantage right now. Lucas Cole has settled into second, but it is a big train coming up here behind Keith Donegan. And when you get them locked up like this and stacked up, they start getting aggressive. Watch for Dakota Dickerson coming in here as well. He's ready to close up on the number 91, Igor Fraga. So count Dakota Dickerson now into the 11th position coming across the line. But again, Kyle Kirkwood with a 1.6 second advantage. Cole strong too, but they're all starting to get aggressive, trying to get by the BN Racing number 28 of Keith Donegan.
Watching him in the keyhole turn, that time didn't see any smoke out of that car. It wasn't a lot, just a little wisp of smoke out of the back of that 28, but the field really stacked up behind right now as the front 2 cars have run away with it. And then behind, a lot of pressure now out of the 21 machine of Ming on the back. Now he tries to go around the outside, but a little bit of a blocking move there by Donegan.
Still side by side. Ming can't get that done. He may lose the spot. Nope, Ming able to solidify that with 21. Calvin Ming able to stay there in that 4th spot, but putting a lot of pressure on Tom Michaels there in front of you.
Front 2, they've already run away. Then we go back to the battle for third place. 28 car now with Calvin Ming up there in the 4th place. Under attack, then there's a little bit of a gap back to 5th.
James Raven making his first start in USF 2000 championship running here this season at least, and putting on a pretty good show. But Calvin Ming got around him, and that puts Raven back to 4th.
Yeah, even further back as the driver's on the move now. Calvin Ming going to work on Donegan, but it's also the 36 car of Darren Keene. He's been able to get by as well. Darren Keene moved him now up into the 5th position, I believe. So Donegan 3rd, Calvin Ming 4th, Darren Keene now up to 5th. James Raven goes back to 6th. Jose Sierra in 7th. Julian Vanderwatt 8th. Igor Fraga in 9th. And it is still, as we got a great battle. There's, look at, on the outside, Rusty, in turn number 2. That's a battle for 2nd or 3rd.
They're side by side as they make their way on, trying to shake the draft a bit as they come onto the straightaway, sort of wiggling back and forth. We've got one car that's gone wide, a yellow flag now out at the exit of the keyhole turn, Brian, but side by side.
Side by side into 4. We'll see if Ming able to get that done. Makes his way into the S's here. And the 21 of Ming can't get that pass done. Donegan able to hold him off. The leaders in front of you, Tom Michaels, already.
Yeah, and about the same distance between 1st and 2nd. Big gap back then. We see that Donegan has been able to hold off Ming to this point, but I think the challenge is going to come once again coming up here once they get onto the front straightaway and perhaps up into the keyhole.
You have no doubt about that, Tom, because I'll tell you, Calvin Ming's a driver that he will press hard to try to get that pass. He wants to get himself into third, but we have a full course yellow. Full course yellow, I believe it's start finish indeed. So an issue on the racetrack, stack them and pack them once again. Full course yellow here in USF 2000. Potentially the issue coming out of the keyhole.
Understand that, yeah, a couple cars off in the keyhole. Rusty, can you get an eye on him?
Yeah, the 29, the Russell McDonough car is one of those. I cannot see the other car number, Brian. I know you've got the replay of the TV screen there in front of you.
And as soon as they replay it, I'll get you some numbers.
We're looking here at one of the TVs in the press room, and we don't have that replay just yet. But we understand from the corner workers there were a couple cars that made contact up in the keyhole turn, and one of them is Russ McDonough. We'll see if the other car was able to continue or if we've got two cars off at that.
No, there are two cars off. The other one is nosed in, and McDonough's car is into the side of that one. So I just can't get the number from here. The drivers look like they are fine. They're being talked to right now as they are just pushed off to the driver's left there, just at the exit of the keyhole turn. And they are in the gravel trap right now and being talked to by the safety team that's up with those two drivers right now. I still can't get the number on the other car.
I want to say they were probably racing for about 12th or 13th, watching the replay of the drivers coming through there. We need to get live timing to re-update for us because it's a little bit messed up for us here and can't quite give you the exact guy who was involved in that incident. But again, probably just outside the top 10. I want to say right there where Dickerson was, because Daniel Frost, Michael D'Orlando, Colin Kaminsky, Jacob Abel, and Yuvan Sundaramurthy all getting an extra spot coming forward. So potentially
Kalen Frederick, I think, is the other driver involved in that, from what Brian just said on the radio. So it's McDonough and Kalen Frederick.
Wow, so Kalen trying to come back to the field a couple of laps down. I mean, I'll tell you, when they look at the replay on that, if Kalen caused that incident being 2 laps down, race control will not be happy at all about that one. But again, we'll try to hopefully get a replay. Otherwise, we'll reset things here again. And this keeps playing into the hands of Dakota Dickerson. Started 24th. We still have lots of time to go here. 26 minutes still remaining. It's a 20-lap race or 40 minutes. We're 7 laps into it now, not quite to the halfway point yet. Here's your top 10. Kyle Kirkwood leading, Lucas Cole in second, Keith Donegan in third, Calvin Ming in the 4th spot, Darren Keene in 5th, James Raven 6th, Jose Sierra 7th, Julian Vanderwatt in 8th, Igor Fraga 9th, and Corey Enders rounds out your top 10. Right there, Dakota Dickerson in 11th position. Daniel Frost now 12th, Michael D'Orlando 13th, Colin Kaminsky in 14th, and 15th is Jacob Abel. Yuvan Sundaramurthy in 16th, Bruno Tomaselli 17th, Saber Cook 18th, Kyle Dupel 19th, 20, 21, 22, Oscar de Luzuriaga, David Osborne, Rasmuth Lent. 2 drivers out of the race. Indeed, you called it, Russell McDonough and Kalen Frederick. It's been a tough day all around for Kalen Fredericks, the Pabst Racing driver, out on the opening lap, then out here as well on lap number 7.
Yeah, I'm sure driving with a little bit of red mist as he got taken out in that first turn and, trying to get back through the field. And unfortunately, it's going to come to naught for him. Looks like his day may be done.
Kyle Kirkwood, as we said, folks, essentially winning the championship, securing it here. The only driver really probably that could have challenged him was Kalen Frederick. He would have had it been perfect for the remainder of the year. And Kyle would have had to get hardly any points. With the points he will get here, you're going to see a new champion in USF 2000 unofficially. We'll, of course, wait till they get through tech and everything. But when we're down there in Victory Lane with whoever gets there, if it's Kyle Kirkwood, we'll be celebrating a driver who will be a new champion. In fact, I think he'll probably be the champion regardless, simply because of the lack of points pulled in today by Kalen Frederick. Still a battle for second place, third in the points, of course. So we will continue to battle it out all the way through to the finale on Labor Day weekend in Portland.
Rasmus Lind hangs on to the fast lap of the race so far, a 122.3. So that's one bonus point that Kyle Kirkwood won't score. But if he stays out front, obviously he'll get the point for A, the pole, and B, leading the most laps. Again, I think it's all a foregone conclusion at this stage.
It's been a great season for Kyle Kirkwood, absolutely on a roll in terms of race wins. Came in with Cape Motorsports, which now wins its 8th championship in a row in USF 2000. I asked one of my buddies in the media room who would actually have won that. Who's the record? And I guess 8 championships in a row ties that of Frank Kimmel in ARCA, but not quite enough to displace John Force in the NHRA with 10 straight championships. So a big shout out to Krista Hardy from Motorsports Tribune for helping me out with that.
That's awesome.
Always go to Chris for the stats because he's got a good list of them. He knows his stuff. But again, there you go. 8 straight championships for the drivers running for Cape Motorsports. Just a tremendous sibling duo, Nicholas and Dominic Cape. They've been around for a long time, and that's counting the championships in a row here on the road to Indy. They've been running USF 2000 for 20-something years, championships back then as well, with guys like Brian Sellers, et cetera, et cetera. So.
And Kyle ran with Cape Motorsports in F4 last year and dominated that series as well. So clearly they've got these 2-liter cars very much figured out without any question. The Cape Crusaders, as we want to call them.
They're great guys, I'm telling you. They are. I've known them for a long time. Just great guys. They're characters for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
If you've ever come to one of our Mazda Road to Indy banquets, you're never sure what they're going to show up like.
Exactly.
I think it was the Dirty 30s one year. They were gangsters one year. They were disco one year. Perfect.
Yeah, they have a lot of fun.
They do. And you know what? That's what this is all about. Let's have some fun to go racing. Hopefully, we're going to go back to green, but of course, this incident could take a little bit longer. But again, with the AMR IndyCar safety crew getting out there, they do such a tremendous job to get the incidents cleared up quickly. And in the case of an incident like we had in Toronto with Harrison Scott, they were on the scene before he probably even came to arrest.
Yeah.
If you've seen the video, he's upside down. One guy's running already, and the truck's already rolling. And the comment I loved was he's upside down, and Harrison Scott said by the time he kind of figured out what was happening, he already saw their feet around the car. He was upside down. He could see their feet around the cockpit of the car. I thought that was just tremendous. And again, that's what we're talking about when it comes to this AMR IndyCar safety crew. They bring such a level of confidence and I'm trying to think of another word for it, but just the confidence they're able to bring to these drivers, knowing that if something happens out there, they're going to be in good hands.
We're going to go green this time by, we understand, from race control.
Russell McDonough actually bringing the car in flat left front there. It doesn't look like a lot of damage, though. They'll get that changed and hopefully get him back out. But indeed, we are racing once again. Green flag flies here.
And
9
once
laps
again,
down, 11 laps remaining still.
Yeah, Lucas Cole does a little blocking move on Keith Donegan as they head toward turn 1.
Around turn 1, single file this time. Nobody going side by side on their way up to the hill. A couple cars now peeking out, driving defensively there at the braking area for the top of the keyhole. Now down the straightaway one more time, and we'll watch again. Kirkwood gets a great jump on the field right now. He's probably got a 5-car length lead as they come by in front of me. And this time the 28 car is coming right along with Lucas Cole. So Keith Donegan not giving it up, but 4 wide behind for a second, Brian. I knew that wasn't going to work.
No, it certainly didn't work, but we still got some good racing back there for the 8th spot. This time, a good battle for that 3rd spot. Donegan, whatever his problem was, he might have sorted that out. And Ming's right in that battle as well. Tom Michaels there in front of you.
Yep, they go by me as the leader. Kyle Kirkwood again stretches it. And then we're going to have a good battle sitting there for that 2nd and 3rd place as they head up into the carousel.
2 wide coming into turn 10.
Tremendous battle as well between Igor Fraga trying to get by Julian Vanderwatt. They were side by side through 5, 6, and over to 7. But again, onto the front straightaway. Here they come. Kirkwood with the lead. 2nd is Cole. 3rd is Donegan. 4th is Ming. 5th is the number 12 of Raven. 6th is Vanderwatt. 7th position now, I believe, is Igor Fraga. Great racing so far. And again, watching these drivers settle in. What happened to Dakota Dickerson? Did he fall down a couple of spots? Trying to find Dakota on live timing. I didn't see him come back across. But again, we'll hope to see that live timing will update for us. We'll give you an update on Dakota Dickerson. Otherwise, Kirkwood continues to lead out front.
Down the straightaway, all alone right now and pulling away. In fact, the 2nd place battle is broken off too. But the battle for 3rd, side by side right now, as it looks like Calvin Ming trying an outside pass on Donegan.
Long way around. Ming tries to make it work. He sticks it in there. Ming gets the pass done. He goes the long way around and gets the pass done. What a move at the end of the back straightaway. Coming at you, Tom Michaels, new 3rd place runner, the 21.
8, 9, and 10. Not a real good passing spot. We'll take a look here. New third-place car, that 21 of Calvin Ming. He took a tighter inside line as he came through turn number 9. Following right behind him, though, is Donegan looking to get this spot back.
Tremendous pass for Calvin Ming, as you guys said, over in turn number 4. And that corner is one of those deals. As long as you're the first guy to the exit point before you get to the inside of 5, you've got the position. He was able to outrace Donegan to the outside, get to the part of the racetrack where he would have that inside move coming through turn number 4. Tremendous run for him. As I told you guys, he's aggressive. He needs a result right now. So Calvin Ming up to 3rd. He's not. There's Dakota Dickerson's coming back across for us, indeed. Finally seeing him again. And we got yellows again. Yellow's going into turn number 1 here. I'm not sure if it's going to be full course, but I see a yellow light at least going into turn number 1. Waiting for a full course to be shown here. Haven't seen it quite yet.
Yeah, it's full course right now, Rob.
Thank you so much, guys. Driver off. That's Oscar De Luzuriaga. De Luzuriaga from Newman Walks off the racetrack. That looks like coming out of turn number 9. Probably hooked it up on the curb, John, and shot the car across the racetrack.
Yeah, Tom Michaels, that probably happened in front of you.
Yeah, the car right now, it's at the bottom of the turn, just before the spectator bridge. The car went to the inside of the track after it spun. I'm not sure whether it made any kind of an impact there against the tire barrier. It is right there before the tire barrier ends, and you get the bare metal in terms of the guardrail there. But driver is out, looks to be okay.
Thank you, Tom. An issue with Oscar De Luzuriaga. He had a bit of an off there earlier as well in testing, just to drop the wheel coming out there, trying to get the car to rotate. And we've seen it all day long. That's what you have to do there. You got to get over that riser. The car's got to rotate. Otherwise, you're just going to be slow. Sometimes you can't control that over rotation on, especially if you go a little wide and drop the left rear.
Yep.
Man, it's pretty easy when it can hook and then shoot back across the racetrack.
It's one of the last places you learn to go fast in Mid-Ohio, because the track drops away from you just as you're trying to get back on the power coming through that turn number 9, and it's real easy to lose the rear end.
Great insight from a guy who's watched a lot of races here.
Yep.
You're right. That's a tough place. Be fast everywhere else, because you can get through there cleanly.
Yep.
You just take a little more maybe narrow exit at turn number 9, tighten it. But yeah, if you want to be fast, you got to hang it out there. But I like that call. Be fast there at the very end. And Oscar, of course, having just a little bit of trouble there. Resetting the field once again with Dakota Dickerson in 10th. A lot of good drivers in front of him right now. Kirkwood and Lucas Cole, though, John, seem to have kind of the measure of the field right now.
Yeah, they seem to be running at about the same pace, too. Kirkwood, it's almost like he's afraid of DRS. He's able to jump out to a big lead on every restart, but then it kind of stabilizes as Cole is able to match his pace. But those two, really the class of the field so far.
Isn't that the way? It's those cold tire laps, right? You pull out to that 2.5 seconds, you just stop. You don't need to burn the tires off.
Sure.
2.5 a half a second, 7 seconds. It's still a win.
Exactly.
So Kirkwood pulling out to just a little bit of advantage, making sure Lucas Cole can't get close to the draft coming down the straightaway, and just maintain that position. 13 laps down. I expect they're going to be able to take care of De Luzuriaga's car pretty quick. It's still
already
there.
on the hook.
Oh.
Already on the hook. In fact, you can see it coming up into the carousel just now.
I must have looked at a replay then, because it was still on the screen I was looking at. Indeed, up on the hook already. So they'll bring him off here pretty quickly. I don't know if we're going to go right back. Here comes the AMR safety team up at the Thunder Valley as well. So there's a potential. If these guys get back quick enough, we'll go green. They'll put lap 14 in the books as they come by, and we'll have 6 more laps of racing here. It's been an eventful run. Luckily, we have 3 races, a triple header for these drivers here this weekend. Hopefully, they'll settle down for the remaining 2 races. We've had a couple of minor incidents with drivers. Of course, Kalen Frederick involved in a couple. AMR safety truck staying out on the front straightaway yet as they bring Oscar De Luzuriaga in. 20-year-old driver out of Singapore.
Igor Fraga in the points-paying positions. He's up into 9th position right now. So that'll close the gap to Kalen Frederick, who won't score points today. So Igor Fraga will get a little closer to 2nd in the championship. But I think the championship pretty much decided. We expected that to happen, as Kyle Kirkwood just needs to cruise around for these final 7 laps or so. And he should be good to go for his first championship and cashing that big scholarship check from Mazda.
Let's have a look. Indeed. Pace car ducking on off to the left side of the racetrack, coming through the carousel. We'll go back to green. If we can go from start to finish, we'll get 6 more laps of racing. Can Lucas Cole challenge them? They'll stack it up coming. What a great start for Kyle. Oh, there's contact right there. Oh, Darren Keene. Darren Keene is done. Oh, hopefully nobody runs into the back of him. One driver goes off the racetrack. Tough one for Darren Keene. He has had an absolutely terrible season in terms of luck.
Bruno Tomaselli is the other car.
Okay, thank you, John. They came onto the front straightaway, and Kyle Kirkwood did a great job, nice and slow, and then punched off. Everybody else trying to get off the throttle, on the throttle early at the back. Front wing for the number 12 as well of Jose Sierra, the rear wing rather for Sierra, so he'll come into pit lane.
Yeah, he's in the gravel trap right now, Rob, as he went wide there. I think he thought he had the wing on the car through turn one, and obviously the rear didn't stick at all.
Wow.
And it spun it right into the gravel trap.
Yeah, Darren Keene apparently got into the back of him, and it's buckled the front wing of Darren Keene's car under the chassis. His front wheels are not even on the ground.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go whatsoever. He just got on the brakes and let the thing kind of stop in the middle of the track. Thankfully, everyone able to get out both ways. Bruno Tomaselli went into the grass to get out of the way. She ends up tagging the wall. Everybody scattered to try to get around Darren Keene, who's stuck in the middle of the racetrack, and this guy was having a tremendous run up there in the top 10. I think he was running around the 7th spot at one point. Coming across the line, of course, lost. We look at live timing. That's everybody that passed him coming across the line. He was actually in the 7th position. So a tough one for Darren Keene. And, man, we're just having trouble getting laps in here for USF 2000. We don't normally see this kind of carnage here. And that was, honestly, just drivers trying to anticipate the jump. Because Kyle Kirkwood came out. He had it nice and slow, did exactly what he pace car crawl, got to we have a line down here. If you can see, those of you who come down here and see it, or maybe potentially see it when they come back across start finish, it's an MRTI board. That's the punch off.
Right.
They cannot get on the throttle until they get to the MRTI board. It was further back in other years. You can see there's two of them. That's kind of the punch off window right when they come out of turn number 12. Is it turn 12 or 13?
Yep.
They come out and they get that window. They can punch off anywhere they want in that window.
Right.
It's the pole sitter who gets to pick where within that punch-off window he's able to do it. He accelerates right as they come out of there, and right in the middle, he started on the throttle. Everybody else started as well, and that was just guys driving into the back of each other. And what happens, John, you know this. Somebody will get started. The other guy's not going. They got to jam on the brakes, and that's when the accordion happens.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Bruno Tomaselli just had nowhere to go as she came up on the stalled car of Darren Keene that was teetering on its back wheels. She had to take evasive action and ended up against the barrier. Go ahead, who was ever coming on.
Yeah, I just want to say, of course, we're under full course yellow. The pace car now has the field in tow. We're waiting on a wrecker here to come out and pick up that car, Jose Sierra, as he is out of the car and in the safety vehicle. He'll make a trip over to the infield care center, but he got out. Everything's fine there. He just looped it into the gravel trap. Again, with no rear wing, the car has no rear grip, and it just spun right off into the gravel.
Well, you talk to these drivers, and they talk about how the balance is off a little bit. We're talking about a minor wing angle when the balance is off, and it's really, really loose, and it's got a lot of oversteer. Well, when you don't have that rear wing, that's out of balance.
Yeah, exactly right.
So the car just goes around quickly. You get in there, you plant it, the front end grabs with the front wing, and it just sends that rear end right around. But for Newman Walks Racing, it's been a tough day for sure. Oscar De Luzuriaga out early, and then, of course, as we said, Darren Keene getting caught up in an accordion action here. And again, probably not his fault either. One of those deals where the guy in front of him speeds up, then jumps on the brakes, and boom, you're into the back of him. So that team will go to work. They've got 2 more races here this weekend. Darren Keene, you expect him to run back into the top 10 before this is all over. But let's have a look at the reset top 15 now. Lucas Cole still second behind Kyle Kirkwood. He's got that lead, and for all intents and purposes has secured the championship. Calvin Ming in the 3rd spot. James Raven in 4th. Keith Donegan 5th. 6th is Julian Vanderwatt. 7th, Igor Fraga. 8th, Dakota Dickerson. He's taken advantage of all this chaos. He's worked from 24th up to 8th, but he likes some green flag racing. Michael D'Orlando now 9th, and Daniel Frost rounding out your top 10. It will be the 3rd straight top 10 for Daniel Frost for Exclusive Autosports, driver out of Singapore. Corey Enders is in 11th, Jacob Abel 12th, Colin Kaminsky 13th, Rasmus Lint still hanging around with the fast lap of the race at 122.327. He's in 14th, Sabre Cook now in the 15th spot.
Field's coming by the incident right here. We've got Darren Keene's car up on the hook and Bruno Tomaselli's car also on the hook. And Rusty, they tell us that they've also got Jose Sierra's car up on the hook.
That wrecker is rolling right now. We'll probably go out the track cut there right at the top of the keyhole turn. So we'll be green here. We just have one of the safety team vehicles that will need to position itself behind the station across track from him, the outside of turn 1, and we'll be green here at turn 1.
remaining drivers, Yuvan Sundaramurthy for Exclusive Autosport in 16th, Kyle Dupel 17th, David Osborne, final driver on the track in the 18th position. It's, of course, was a crazy start to the race with an incident down in turn number 4 between Caitlin Frederick and Rasmus Lint. Rasmus, of course, gets a drive-through penalty. He goes to the back. A couple more incidents with drivers coming off the racetrack, and a big one here with just 7 laps to go. 16 laps down, 4 laps remaining. We may get, if we're lucky, a green-white checker if they're able to get this place cleaned up. And they finally got the car of Bruna Tomaselli hooked up as well here, John. Time, where are we? Still
8 minutes
8
and some
minutes.
change.
Well, 4 laps.
Yeah.
We got time.
Yeah.
We can get this in.
We can get them all in.
I'd like to see a dash to the end, no doubt about it.
I'd like to say a green flag dash to the end.
Please. Please, let's get 2 or 3 green flag laps in here to cap this thing off. This is not what we usually see in the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship powered by Mazda. Kirkwood, though, is something we do usually see up front, and he's been like this all year long. He had some challenges early from drivers like Alex Barron, but man, he has been on a great run here.
6 in a row. This would be 7 if he could make it.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's the confidence, the momentum. He didn't need to connect and blend with the Cape Motorsports guys because he ran with them last year in F4. It was a seamless transition to a new car, which he loved. His good friend Oliver Askew ran it to a championship last year, so there was a pretty good baseline setup. And I'll tell you, Kirkwood, one of the top young kart racers over the last number of years here in North America, has made a fantastic transition into open wheel racing. Okay, it'll be 17 laps in the book this time by. Is the pace car going to pull off for us to go back to racing? It will not. Stays on track. If we're lucky, we'll get 2 laps at the end of this one.
Still had a wrecker that's not cleared the course just now, pulling off track in the top of the keyhole, and I think we're cutting it a little close to let these guys go under green as they had not quite cleared the racing surface, but have done so now. They are just going behind the wall there at the top of the keyhole.
I'm good with a 2-lap dash. That's exciting for you. If you race fans, of course, this is the first race of the weekend. You're hopefully having a cocktail, enjoying yourself out there in your camping spot or wherever you've picked to watch. Keep an eye out for the number 21. Calvin Ming in 3rd position. He has not yet won in the USF 2000 series. He would love to get a victory here. He's got to get by his teammate Lucas Cole first. Lucas has not won either. Kyle's got a lot of victories. They don't care. They want to get by him. But we saw before Calvin Ming got aggressive when he was trying to get forward. He was able to make that move on the outside of turn 4, which is a tough move to get by Keith Donegan. He'll try it again on his teammate, I guarantee it.
That's the long way around, but if you can make it stick, then you've got the inside line for the top of the hill there, turn 5. And it's not an easy pass to make, but it can get done. Brian's seen a lot of them happen out in front of him. So we understand from race control we will go green this time by. A 2-lap dash to the end.
Well, when they come around, I'll call them up through turn number 1. I'm going to throw it to Rusty real quick. Rusty, Brian, and Tom can call that lap because I have a feeling that Brian is going to be in for a treat down in turn number 4. When they get that run all the way down there, it's all about getting through turn 2 cleanly, that off-camber, keyhole, downhill right-hander. I think Brian's in for a treat. Everybody down in the S's section, which is such a great place to watch here at Mid-Ohio. With those drivers now working their way around. We'll see that pace car head to the pit lane. That'll put lap number 18 in the books when they bring them back around. Again, Kyle Kirkwood, masterful in the restart of the last one, brought it up here into the acceleration window. This little area of about 50 yards just came in nicely, kept them all stacked up, rolled on the throttle, and he was fine. It's everybody else around him that couldn't hold back and got on the throttle early. Kirkwood will bring him out of Thunder Valley. This is where the game ship starts, though, coming out of there nice and slow. Have a look coming into the carousel. You can see already James Raven in the blue and white machine ready to go. Does Kirkwood punch off early this time? As soon as he hits the MRTI window. He's on it, and we're underway. Green, green, green. Good start so far. Igor Fragan, the number 91, going to have a look at Julian Vanderwap. But under the Cooper Tire Bridge, Kyle Kirkwood, your leader.
And he's already stretching it about 3 car lengths right now as they make their way into the keyhole turn. Right behind him, Lucas Cole, Calvin Ming not letting him get away. There's a battle 3 wide for a second back there for the 5th spot, but that goes back single file in the top of the keyhole turn. And now we'll watch Kyle Kirkwood begins to stretch away just a bit. Again, he's got about a 5 car length lead here at the kink. The car we're watching right now is that number 7, the James Raven, who looks like he's tightening it up. And then right behind him, side by side, Brian.
Yeah, the battle for 5th and 6th is the best one on the track. Raven looks to the inside, right at the exit of turn number 4. Not able to get it done, but Raven's putting a late race charge on here. He's all over the back end of Ming. Tom Michaels, look for it into turn number 9. Here comes Raven.
First two have separated themselves. Then the third place battle right now. The 21, Ming, right on his rear deck. Raven, they head down through Thunder Valley. They'll have one lap to go after this.
I'm going to hold off on the Edgar Allan Poe joke on the Raven, but I'll tell you, he is haunting right now all over the back of Calvin Ming. And look at this battle. We're going to try 2 wide through the carousel. Look at Igor Fraga on the outside of Julian Vanderwatt. What a pass for Fraga. Outside of the carousel. Here comes Dickerson. He'll go inside Vanderwatt coming into turn number 1 as well. Dickerson on the move. Rusty Bell, they're 2 wide coming underneath the Cooper Tire Tower.
3 rows there, 2 wide, coming around turn 1. Everybody clean so far. We've got 2 cars, 3 cars have come off here. They're going to all be able to continue as they were running towards the tail end of the field as we were watching this great battle up front. Right now, it's those same 2 cars pulling away again. Kirkwood, 10-car length lead right now over that 22 machine. Then a big gap back to the 28 car right now of down the straightaway.
Kirkwood, Cole, Ming, Raven, all by themselves, but the battle is for the 8th spot. That yellow car, the number 80, all over. Vanderwatt trying to make a move. He gets might get done. There's contact down here, turn number 6. The battle is back for 7th through 10th, Tom Michaels.
Well, watch it as they come through. This is not a big passing part of the racetrack. Nobody's going to make a move as they come through turn number 9. They head up through 10, and just a couple of turns to go for your leaders.
Here comes Kyle Kirkwood, folks. 7th straight victory in USF 2000. The 8th straight championship. Unofficially, your title winner in USF 2000, Kyle Kirkwood. Victorious at Mid-Ohio. Lucas Cole second. 3rd spot goes to Calvin Ming. Look at this battle. 4th is Donegan. 5th is Igor Fraga, I believe. The 7th. What happened to James Raven coming into pit lane? Raven's going to fall to 13th, tripping the beam, coming across pit lane. Kirkwood with the win. Let's reset. Cole and Ming. There's your top 3. That's your podium. Keith Donegan holding back a charging Igor Fraga. Julian Vanderwatt in 6th. He had Dakota Dickerson all over him. Daniel Frost, another great run to 8th spot. Michael D'Orlando, 9th. Corey Anderson, 10th. What happened to James Raven coming in there like there was an issue? I don't know why he wouldn't have stayed in the racetrack. He came to pit lane like he thought the race was over or something.
Yeah, the car was sort of hesitating on him. I don't know if he had a problem as he was coming around the last turn there, but the crew having a look at the car was shaking that right front tire. Maybe he made contact with somebody and has a suspension problem.
Well, the guys out there were telling us that was a pretty aggressive race all the way through here. Tremendous battle in the positions for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Calvin Ming was going at it with James Raven. Those were the 2 drivers, and I believe it was Brian that said that they had contact there. Brian, can you reiterate that a little bit? Was there enough contact, you think, to damage the car of James Raven?
It wasn't Raven, actually, the contact was with. It was back there, further back, with Vanderwatt and Fraga. They came together down in 6, nose to tail. I don't know what happened to Raven. Raven was in a solid 4th position when he left the S's.
He is not happy. He is out of the car, got his driver's suit off, and he is gesticulating, shall we say,
Yikes.
as James Raven not happy with the way that one finished. So somebody did not make him happy on his way around on this final lap.
Drivers working their way, John, into pit lane. I got to head down because I'm going to meet Kyle Kirkwood, Lucas Cole, and Calvin Ming in victory lane.
Give Kyle my best regards and congratulate him on his championship. Thanks, Rob. Great race once again as Kyle Kirkwood unofficially clinches his championship and will cash that big check from Mazda to move up into Pro Mazda next season. Lucas Cole finishing in 2nd. Calvin Ming, after a great battle all race long. Ming qualified back in 6th position, picked up 3 spots, helped a little bit by some attrition in front of him, but comes home in the final step on the podium. Keith Donegan finishing 4th. Igor Fraga also involved in a great battle there at the end in the 91 car for Exclusive Autosport, holding off the challenge of Julian Vanderwaalt aboard the number 80, one of the Team Pelfrey entries. Dakota Dickerson, maybe the drive of the day, coming up from 24th, dead last on the grid, to finish in 7th position. Daniel Frost, Michael D'Orlando, and Corey Enders in the final points-paying positions. Heading on down the order, Rasmus Lynch recovering from that first lap incident where he had to do a drive-through penalty, set fast lap of the race on his way to an 11th place finish. Jacob Abel having a good run. Jacob making only his third start in the championship. A driver I know well from F4. He's up to 12th. James Raven gets credit for finishing in 13th position. Colin Kaminsky in the 27 finishes 14th. David Osborne will take 15th spot. Yuvan Sundaramurthy finishes in 16th spot. Kyle Dupel in the number 81 finishes in 17th. Sabri Cook finishes in 18th. Jose Sierra, the first of the cars out of the race after those incidents, as he, Darren Keene, Bruno Tomaselli, Oscar De Lourzienga, Russell McDonough, and Kalen Frederick, all with damage due to incidents on track. Rob Howden's making his way down to Victory Circle. Gentlemen, we'll send it around the horn for your goodbyes as we will get ready for day number 2 of the Honda Indy 200 with MX Cup qualifying coming up tomorrow morning. Rusty?
Well, what a great day here. A great way to start the weekend and a great way to finish the day with a pretty exciting USF 2000 race, and looking forward to tomorrow. We know we've got some quick lap times out there for the IndyCar, and looking forward to seeing if they can get a little closer to that ultimate lap record here at Mid-Ohio. So a great opening day. We hope everybody can come back tomorrow, bring a friend with you, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Rusty. Brian Culbertson, your final words.
Well, a little slow start there to that final race, but it sure did end up great. Looking forward to it a whole bunch more. And like Rusty said, if you're headed home tonight, bring somebody back up tomorrow that hasn't been up to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, because we're in for just a wonderful day of qualifying tomorrow, and I'm looking for a new track record myself. Everybody have a safe drive home. See you guys tomorrow.
Tom Michaels, any last words?
Yeah. Where's a good steakhouse?
I'm sure some of our friends from Mansfield can give you some pointers. Rocky's on the square is really good.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, it's been a good day here. For me, a little bit short. Got up here just a little bit afternoon. So tomorrow, going to be a full day. It'll start off early on, I believe, 8 o'clock. And then, of course, big thing in the morning will be IndyCar practice coming up about 10 o'clock. In the afternoon will be IndyCar qualifying, but a lot of races beyond that.
Thanks, Tom Michaels. Let's send it down to Rob Howden at Victory Circle.
John, thank you so much. We are just wrapping things up here. Kyle Kirkwood taking this opportunity to chat with the good folks from Road to Indy TV. And again, if you want to watch more of the events that we have here on the Road to Indy, download the Road to Indy TV app or head to the online site, roadtoindy.tv, for all the coverage. Again, we've got some of our dignitaries here to help us out with presenting some awards here today. Chris Pantani from Cooper Tire is here. John Doonan, the director of Mazda Motorsports, with us as well. And, of course, Dan Anderson from Anderson Promotions. They're going to help dole out our trophies here in the USF 2000 event. Cooper Tire's USF 2000 Mid-Ohio Grand Prix, powered by Mazda, the first of 3 events for the drivers in USF 2000. I believe we have all our drivers set to go. I think we have the Cooper Tire girls here as well. We'll line everybody up. Brand new victory lane here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Get everybody ready to go, because what a race that was. They're going to do 2 more of them this weekend, a triple header for USF 2000. Folks, we're getting set to go. We have our drivers ready. What a run up to 3rd place. A couple of really good moves, one in turn number 4, but he comes home here in 3rd place to kick off the weekend for Pabst Racing P3, Calvin Ming. Excellent run for Calvin Ming. 3rd spot. And to bring his trophy and Director of Event Marketing, Sponsorships and Motorsports for Cooper Tires, Chris Pantani, bringing the P3 trophy in for Calvin. He was on the move, working his way forward. That pass on Donegan down in turn number 4 was a thing of beauty. Great run for this driver here as well, coming home in 2nd place. Pabst Racing putting 2 drivers on the podium today. From Brazil, Lucas Cole in 2nd spot today. Great run for Lucas, chasing down your leader all race long. And to provide him with his 2nd place trophy, the director of Mazda Motorsports, Mr. John Doonan, bringing the P2 trophy in here for Lucas Cole. Good run and a good weekend for Pabst Racing, as they are 2nd and 3rd here in the opening race of the triple header. But let's really focus on this. Unofficially, of course, with the points, this driver has clinched the USF 2000 championship here for 2018. He'll get the Mazda scholarship to go Pro Mazda Racing next year. But what it took today was a fantastic performance. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. The winner today in USF 2000, Kyle Kirkwood. Kyle Kirkwood winning. Come on down, talk to me here real quick, Kyle. 8th straight championship for Cape Motorsports. Oh, what a fantastic run there for me. Kyle, man, you came in here knowing that you were going to win the championship, very likely with a couple of great wins, but
Yes.
to be able to get out to the lead and get it done, that's awesome. What were you thinking on that cool-down lap?
Honestly, I didn't know what to expect or what to think, honestly. It was amazing race. Unfortunately, a lot of it was under caution, but I was able to get a good restart each time and get that gap, and I knew that they couldn't pressure me. So, I mean, I'm just so ecstatic right now. I'm speechless, honestly, to be able to win the championship this early. A big thanks to Mazda, Cooper Tires, Dan Anderson Promotions, my sponsor First Tech, Bell Helmets, Cape Motorsports, of course. And no, I'm just so happy right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We'll let him get up on top of the podium. Danny Anderson, you bring that P1 trophy in for the newly crowned champion of the USF 2000 program. Of course, Cooper Tires and Mazda are primary partners for this first rung of the Mazda Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. And Kyle Kirkwood, a deserving young driver. 7 straight victories here in the latter half of the 2018 season. He's got 2 more races to go at it here this weekend. And he'll try to do it again when we head to the finale at Portland International Raceway on Labor Day weekend. But it's just been a strong run for Cape Motorsports. Give them the props too. 8 straight championships in USF 2000 for Dominic and Nicholas Cape and the crew at Cape Motorsports. What a weekend so far to get things underway. They're grabbing that car. They want to take it back and get to work on it. But I'll tell you, just a tremendous run for all of these drivers. They'll get the Mazda hats on here as well. Sorry about that. Didn't see that one there. So again, the drivers getting set to do 2 more races. They'll race again tomorrow. They have another qualifying run to knock out as well. Race number 2, their fast lap of race number 2 is what we'll use for the grid for race number 3. So a little more pressure even on race 2 as they've got to put down a good lap to see where they're going to start the final event of the triple header. Kyle Kirkwood coming into this weekend knowing that he needed about 34 points to totally clinch the championship. Well, he got, I believe, 32 of them. I think the fast lap of the race was still Rasmus Lint. But with Kalen Frederick going out early, he was the one driver that could challenge. And Kyle Kirkwood coming home with a tremendous race here today, his 7th straight victory. And he is the champion in the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship, powered by Mazda here in 2018. And that means that he will run the Soul Red Mazda next year in the Pro Mazda Championship, which, of course, second rung of the road to Indy. We have seen drivers win that Pro Mazda Championship and be an IndyCar just 2 years later. That's what it means to be part of this Mazda Road to Indy, the opportunities. Of course, these drivers have to wear these suits.
Do you know what it means to race here?
Do you know the opportunities that exist here?
Do you know the pressure?
All around the country.
All around the world.
There's drivers young and old.
We want the chance to do what we are doing.
What we are fighting for.
What we're racing for.
We've raced our whole lives and sacrificed so much.
We've worked hard.
Stayed up late.
And gotten up early.
We've proven doubters wrong and made our supporters proud.
Our dream is in front of us.
The only thing left to do
is win.